My space, your space. Your space, my space. Our space. One space, love. My space, your space.
The One Space Love Show for the love of music, lifestyle, well-being and culture while caring for our planet. On this show, I will be chatting with musicians, artists and creative minds that are living life on purpose by doing what they love.
One space, love. My space, your space. Your space, my space. Our space. One space, love. One space, love. One space, love.
I'm your host, Steph Pappas. You're listening to One Space Love. So welcome, Dr. Tommy John, to the One Space Love Show. So beautiful to have you on. Thank you for saying yes. How are you?
Of course. I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm very good. And it's an interesting time we are all living in at the moment. And I felt very drawn to have you on. So I really appreciate you taking the time because I know you've got a lot of projects that you're spinning up in the air and juggling as well. And you're all the way over in the States in LA, right?
San Diego. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
San Diego. Sorry.
Yeah.
San Diego. Time, place, space. It's all, we feel so connected.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Can you introduce to the listeners by answering the statement I am and give like a nice, summary of who you are in this moment? Yeah.
So I am a human being on Earth who sleeps when he's tired, who eats when he's hungry, who moves when he's itchy, who believes in the connectivity and the empowerment and facilitating human sovereignty and medical and health freedom. And I will be the biggest defender of our body's ability to adapt and regenerate and heal from anything. And if somebody wants to try to pounce on that and get in the way of that, I will step up. And that's what I stand for. That's what I'm here. That's what I've been doing for, a lifetime, but now feel called due to just with the powers that be looking to try to quiet that ability or try to step in and make people feel powerless. And I feel called, and this is what hill I'll die on. That's for sure.
Exactly. So this is your calling. And I have read a little bit about your story, and I wanted your life story. That's such a broad statement, but the experiences that you've had along the path. And I was fascinated because I didn't know this when I first was introduced to you of your background with your father. And, I have 3 boys, so I have my own story with that. But going back to your father, Dr. Tommy John, and his experience with the health system. Let's just touch on that a little bit and go back to the younger version of you and when you had that moment of realization that there was something more, what life experiences put the dots for you. There was something more to the medical system at a young age.
So,
when do you saw that moment? Yeah.
So I was always curious. I was always observant as a kid. I was always fascinated by how people did things differently. My dad was a professional athlete, so I would watch how he would prepare for his environment at the time. And I would watch his teammates. I would watch my teammates, and I would try to mimic and imitate the ones that stood out to me. And I didn't know why. I was just very observant of everybody's actions and how people went about doing things. And then we go into college athletics, and I had an infection in my shoulder caused by a medical procedure, but then that same medical body then did a flush and a save. So I've seen how the medical industry can almost kill you or does kill you, thirdly, and cause a death in the United States. And then what they can do emergency wise from problems that they cause. So I got to be on both sides of that fence. I was also, as I was being delivered, even as a baby, Christian Northrup says this, I was coming out of my mom and they gave an epidural because that's what you do to mothers when they're delivering for some reason. And they missed and she gets knocked out. And so I'm stuck in the birth canal suffocating. So a procedure that they push on everybody that they even think is beneficial, now all of a sudden is threatening my life. So then they pull me out with tongs and forceps and save my life. So again, 2 medical procedures that should have killed me, 2 saving graces from the same medical. So I've been a part of seeing both sides of this whole thing. And I just had a background in sport and soft tissue injury. So literally just like rolled ankles, torn ACLs. And then that led to the system we were doing was MS, Parkinson's, and diabetes, and all these other things. And we were having these amazing breakthroughs doing the opposite of what physical therapy, the allopathic model, what every coach, what every trainer was being taught in schools. This was in the early 2000s. So I started to see like, wait a second. And this was just injury. Like this was like soft tissue. And then it turned into like paralysis and some other things. I'm like, wow, that whole system, orthopedics, is just an entire sham, like the entire thing. Well, then it gets into like psychiatric medication, that whole road, because my brother was in that world and I got to train his psychiatrist. And I literally started to ask him, because he's not out to kill my brother. And so I'm asking him questions.
And what was happening with your brother? What was happening with your brother? You mean depression?
Battling whatever they labeled him with, which is depression. Yeah. Since you're not ever sick or diseased, your body's just healing. They like to call it, even a tumor is not sickness. A tumor is the body's ability to adapt. We like to call it cancer or MS. It's just the body healing. The body's never diseased or sick. It's always in a healing state. And so now they've told us that our feelings are disease. What a fucked up scenario that is. So now you have somebody thinking that their feelings are a disease and something's wrong with them. So whatever they labeled him with, I honestly don't even know because I forgot about it. But He gets into that world. He's thrown into Seroquel and lithium and all this other shit. Well, now I'm like asking his psychiatrist how he could possibly treat somebody like this, like knowing the body. And he's flat out like, we don't know what we're doing. We have no idea how a brain's going to respond. That's why we ask questions when we give medications and we keep changing it up. Everybody's different. Oh, okay. Can I see some of your textbooks? Because I'd like to learn where you're coming from because it seems just asinine and lunatic. So he gives me his textbooks. They're published by Pfizer. So the whole thing is just falling apart. And this was like 2008. And I'm like, okay, you can't exist in that model and be a healthy person. There is no allopathic model. What about a car accident? No way. It's all done. That whole thing is over with. We're done giving them people. People can go there and you can support it, but I'm going to fight like hell for this lifetime to take them down and take naturopathic down too, because they're selling out as well. They're owned by the same companies. So when I started to pull that back, I started to see that the whole system, the university system, the agriculture, everything was coming from the same place. And now fast forward to 2020 and they like to run out the biggest scam in the history of the world. So I pulled back the curtain on that. And it's just an extension of everything they've been doing, right? So I'm like, okay, this is my calling. I've been doing this for this amount of time. I've been this vocal, but now everybody's seeking for that voice because everyone else is being quieted or censored and so I'm saying the same message. That's why everyone's like, how long have you been vocal about this? Like my entire friggin' life. My message has not changed. I published a book with the same shit I'm saying now. But now people all of a sudden want to listen. When their kids were falling apart, they didn't want to do shit. So it's like, it's the same message. I just now don't give a crap. And when I was deleted, now I'm really loud. And if somebody comes to close my office, good luck, like trying to take me down. I'm dropping my license. I'm not playing a part of this anymore. And so I'm just out. I'm out of the whole thing. My role is to help empower and facilitate. You can't save anybody and can't heal anybody. It's not going to happen. So everyone's involved in their self. They're going to have to figure out how they're going to maneuver, what their line is. I'm just trying to show them that there's a capacity of the human spirit. There is a way to live that even if you're in prison, you can have a pretty damn good life. Talk to Mandela or Viktor Frankl. Those guys found ways to turn their situation an opportunity. All we've been given right now is an opportunity. This is the biggest trauma that the world has ever seen, what they're trying to pull with this fairy tale, right? So with every trauma comes a healing response greater than the trauma. That's how we're designed or we wouldn't be here. So we have an opportunity to heal greater than that. That's how we're wired. So do it. What are you doing? It's been over a year. Do it. Like, are you scared? Yeah, I'm scared too. Everybody's scared. We're losing people. Fuck, do it. Right now, You're still alive. You have to take action on this. Otherwise, you're going the other way. And nobody's going to say, I'm not waiting for others. And if I lose family, you lose family. But this is one of the biggest divides and biggest eye openers to you have to wake up or you will be left. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Scary, but real. This is where we are. We had a year of this. And so it's over. If you're not awake now and aware, you're out. Just stay out of my way and stay out of other people's way,
Today we're chatting with Dr. Tommy John. Can you also share about your father and the medical system? Because, what I was taken back by was the doctor that he came across. I mean, I think it happened before you were born, but how he, with the operation, but how he's, they're just saying that there's a 1% chance, and that 1%, I mean, of course it was his accountability and his responsibility. It's not the operation. That's what people would miss.
Right.
It's what he did after. And I love how he said, it's after, listen to your body. We're following you now after the operation. We've done the medical part, but now you need to tune in and listen to your body. I mean, what a soul to bring you on this earth. I mean, incredible. What was your dad like? I mean, growing up with him and
So he's a beast. And here's what's something interesting, because everyone's going to be like, well, Tommy John, you shouldn't be attacking the medical community because the medical community saved your dad's career. Well, let's wait and see how he got there. He was given 50 cortisone shots. Instead of the medical community going to cause and figuring out why somebody's hurting the way they are, why the body would be trying to heal this way, they go ahead and throw the fire alarm out the window and continue to sit the man in the burning building. Now, fast forward 13 years and his elbow explodes. Oh my God, what a genius move that they transplant a ligament. Yeah, genius. That's great. Why the hell would somebody even have to be in that situation in the first place? So that's what we don't talk about. And then it's like, oh, this surgery, medical. I'm like, all right, yeah, it led to this Tommy John surgery and it's popular and whatever. And it turned into this great thing, but he should never have been in that position in the first place. And that's fine. That's where we're at. He turned it into an opportunity, which is really what I would have done, right? Like, it's this spirit that he's got. He wanted to do something so badly on this planet, and that was compete throwing baseballs. That's all he wanted to do. So when this happened, he had no options. He kept pestering and pestering. Is there anything you can do? Anything? And Dr. Job was just like, well, there's this thing that we've never done in the throwing arm of a pitcher, but I don't know what's going to happen. And my dad's like, is there any chance? And he's like, well, yeah, I mean, like 1%, I guess 1 out of 100. My dad's like, done. Like, he just wanted to know that there was an opportunity, and that was it. And he'd do the rest. And that's what we need to have in people. You have to be able, that's why I push Dr. Cassie Huckabee. She'll sit across from people with stage 4, MS, ALS, all these incurable things that people have been labeling, right? And they're like, has somebody in the world healed this? Well, yeah, millions have. Done. Then you can. It's in your wiring. And that's all they needed to hear. And the people that heal are the ones that like say, I'm going to heal. Like, they're not like, can you save me? Or can you kind of point the direction I'm going to kind of no, show me what to do. I will heal. Done. They're the guarantees. And it's not, we hope. It's just how the body works.
Okay.
So this whole like, well, no, it's just how the body works. So what he went through is the capacity that everybody has, and it was amazing that he has. Everybody's like, oh, it's remarkable. Well, it's just the human. He expressed it at like the greatest level, and what he had that nobody else had was he had his reason. And that was for throwing a ball and competing, and my reason is my throwing of my ball is living life. I just want to experience the sensations of life to the max as long as I can. That's it. And so what's interesting now is now that baseball's taken out, the man could give two shits about taking care of himself.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Where is he at now in his mindset? Yeah.
Yeah. No. But what's so great is he doesn't let anything bother him. And that's huge in people. When I talk to 90-plus-year-olds, I always ask them, like, what's the secret that gets them this late in life, able to be this content? And they're always like, secret? What do you mean? And they always match up with, I just never let anything get to me. I just let things go, let things go, let things go. They never say exercise. They never say diet. They never say some detox or cleanse. They all drink in some way. They all do drugs or psychotropic. Like, they all do these things that are such great aspects of life, but they're like, I don't hold on to anything. And that's where my dad is now. He's just like, that's literally why he's still around, is because he doesn't hold on to anything. But he would have done anything to pitch, cut his pinky toe off, sacrifice this, sacrifice that. Yeah, that's what I'm willing to do. Same expression of human, only my drive is, for other things in life than throwing a baseball. And so it's just to show the potential. We just need that. We need that reason. We need that reason. And then we need we need the people behind to support our belief and our purpose. And if we have that crew, and if you don't have it, you still got it. You just got to find it in you first. That's the thing with it all,
It gives you that light to that guiding path.
That's it. That's it. Because everybody else is going to come at you wanting to knock you down. Even want to knock you down because you speak in terms. I mean, I have haters speaking for medical and health freedom. How the hell, when I'm fighting for you, are you giving me hate in a DM or something? Like, it's just so frustrating to them because they don't want to take that on. And they've been told a story, and and it's very scary when you hold yourself accountable and responsible for your own expression of life. That's a hard thing for a lot of people, and they've been desensitized to that for 40 years, so I'm very empathetic to them. That's why I kind of joke with them when they come back with hate, because I'm not fighting. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, but I just tell them, understand, I'm fighting for you. You realize this,
I know where I'm going next, but I just want to bring, for the people that are listening on an auditory manner, can you just explain where you got to have this relationship with your samurai sword?
So you see the samurai sword. So the samurai sword, I was watching The Bodyguard with Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston. And there's a scene in there where he throws a scarf up and it falls and it splits into two pieces. And I was living there and I was like, a samurai sword would be so cool. I want to do it. And I just ordered a samurai sword. And it was literally, this symbolizes that we have this ability to be free adults, and we could just literally go do what you want to do. If you want to order a samurai sword, so what's your samurai sword? Go get it and do it. So when I hold it in these videos, it's just exemplifying the freedom it is of being a free, sovereign, conscious adult, and I have fun with it. I open boxes with it. I chop fruit, but it's not to fight. It just shows that this is what we have the capacity to do, whether it's laying on your stomach watching a movie and you order a sword, or you want to go outside, or you want to connect with a loved one. Like, you're a friggin' free adult. Do it. That's what you got. So
where do you think all these insights came from? Do you think that they just came through you, or, because where do you think they came from?
So I think we all have them in us. I think our purest state is when we're children. And we don't have a lot of the educated, we don't have a lot. That's why the purest form of chiropractic to the people that haven't sold out is pediatrics. It's kids, because you can't upsell a kid. You're not going to lie and pitch all this crap to a child. And they respond so quickly because they don't have this guarded expectation, and they're curious. And they challenge, and they see no limit. They literally see adventure, and their imagination is possibility. We all have that. It just gets knocked out of us in school and university and parents and priests and ministers and freaking, you name it, right? Like television. It's like, my God. So I've just been, call it an old soul, call it whatever, something. I just didn't like how I was controlled when I was little. I didn't even like going to college. It made no sense to me, but I just did it because we're supposed to. I played baseball a couple of years professionally. It was like, and then I started to tap into my likes and my desires, and oh my gosh, and the things that stimulated me. I started following my heart instead of what you're supposed to do. Like, what do I feel like I need to do? And now I've tapped into that because I'm so not, if you try to parent me or manage me, I'm out. Like, I cannot take it. It's such a bad taste in my mouth that I'm just,
How are you with relationships?
Well, same. I mean, I have like respect, right? And so I'm always open to improving. And so it's one of those things that I value certain people to give my time to. And so let me phrase that. So Dr. Northrup calls them energy vampires, right? Like, there's such a select few people that I respect enough to give my time to challenge me to be a better person, what I'm doing, so I accept, like, oh, if it comes out of certain mouths or from certain bodies, but it's not just everyone throwing everything at me and I'm reading a book and everyone, oh, no, that's not happening. But if it's a certain group of people and they're like, hey, TJ, and they just, we talk and it's like, oh, interesting. That's cool. But my biggest thing is to let that 12-year-old out and let him lead the way, because that was when I was happiest. I always revert back to 12 years old for some reason. My memories, 12-year-old with adult responsibilities and adult capacity. And so far, everybody's just like, you literally just live like you're 12. I'm like, why can't you? Like, what's wrong with that? We were so closer to connect, creator, whatever you think we came from when we were children, you know? So I'm trying to like tap into that and bring it out. And everybody seems to be drawn to that. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone kind of is addicted to my way of delivering. They're like, I just feel good when I listen to I feel good. And so that's where we're kind of headed. So as far as like, where did it come from? All that, I think it's always been there.
What's inspiring you at this moment when you say in that joy, childlike playfulness energy? What is your time other than work and helping others? What ignites you at the moment and gives you inspiration to keep going? Because it can be quite overwhelming. So what gets you up and inspires you?
So I first want people to understand that there's not a day that goes by that I don't go through depression or anger or loneliness that's the human experience, is all of it. And those are lessons, those are opportunities. So I do not try to do stuff to hide those. I don't try to deny them. I don't try to, cloud them up with people or alcohol or drugs or some treatment or a healer. No. I sit with them and I let myself be with those. And then I take action. So I try to be like, why am I feeling that? It's interesting. Oh, I felt that after I had that engagement with that person, or I felt that after I read that thing, or I felt like I try to make sense of it all. Because your body is the all-time ruler. It knows exactly what you need to do, where you need to be, who you need to be with, what you need to consume. It knows. And if we tap in, the guru is inside you. So I, knowing this and believe this, full faith, I'll go and I'm like, wow, body, what are you trying to tell me right now? It's not always pretty. It doesn't always feel good. It doesn't always smell good. It's not always accepted, but it's you, it's your path. And then what I try to do to make sense of it all is I get out into nature. And I will literally, like a sunset or a forest or a quiet mountain or the ocean or a pelican surfing the waves, or like there's always that connects me to greater and brings in this power that I see outside that we all have access to, even connecting with a cat. And when I'm petting the cat on the ground, I look under this bush and there's this whole ecosystem under the bush. There's a web with water and drops in it. And there's bugs like irrigating the ground, and the ground is like taking in the dead leaves and turning it into nourishment. And like there's a whole life underneath, but I had to see it by getting down on the ground with a cat. So there's so much power out and about that when you look at that power is inside of us. So then I get up and I'm like, what am I harping on? Dude, it's all within me. Let's go. And I'm immediately, more times than not immediate. Sometimes it's like a day or 2 days. I'm like, here we go. But I'm literally so blown away by what we have access to for free outside that's my big push, is to reconnect with nature instead of all these theories. Just get out. The messages are clear and they're out there. And there's so much we can learn from trees, from animals, from our food, from each other, from literally the environment around us. There's so many clues that nature leaves. That's the biggest book. Like, I'm not a big reader and doer. I'm a big doer. And then people tell me, oh yeah, what you're doing, they call it this in this book. I'm like, I don't know what they call it. I just know we all have it.
You're intuitive and you feel. And you see, beyond the illusion. Your eyes, see through lens. Yeah. And so my next question was, what do you see your role being on the earth? But I feel that your role is you can answer that, but I feel, it is very much to share this message. And in every essence of your life, it feels like you are embodying that. You are speaking and living and taking responsibility for what it is you believe you are here on this earth to do. Yeah.
I've transitioned since 2020. Thank you, first of all, for observing that, because I feel like that's what I tried to do. And it was initially getting out information, like textbook type information. That was very boring, but I'm like, wait, no, this is the immune system. This is how it works. Viruses aren't a thing. Like, here, okay, that shifted, And I go on feel. When I read certain things, I don't feel good. So I'm not going to post that thing. So if it's like an informative tile or an article, no, if it's somebody talking who I respect, but I don't feel good, I'm not reposting them. Like, I don't feel good. So now I've shifted to just, what am I going to post? And this was even before I got deleted.
Yep.
I'm going to post how I live my life, because I want people to see what a free human being looks like, how amazing this opportunity is, and truly what they can just get. You don't have to be a single guy in California. Like, this is just human. This is human. I'm not extravagant. I've simplified everything. I don't like purchase a bunch of stuff. It is literally free. Everything I'm doing is free. And then what people see, they're like, thank you for the inspirational video. I'm like, wow, I didn't mean it for it to be inspirational. I'm just living. Yes. I'm literally just showing you my way of life. And then that's how I practice. And those are the principles I put in my office. And that's the other things that I do. There are so many people that sell a product and live a different way, you know, and I cannot affiliate myself with them. I was just talking to my naturopath, Dr. Cassie Huckabee. This is why we don't have a lot of friends in the field, because there are a lot of posers. I say 99.999% of the people in the medical field, natural or allopathic,
same as the spiritual field. Yeah.
All of it, right? I mean, all of it. We can go into everything, right? And it's just there's so many people raking and taking advantage of this opportunity. They've been doing it forever. Now they see another opportunity. It's like, I'm not a part of this. So all I'm trying to do is just show people what it's like unedited. Because if we just unedit the human spirit, all of a sudden now we're healing. All of a sudden now people are accepting self. All of a sudden they've been told they weren't good enough. They're ugly. They're not tall enough. They're not smart enough. They're not rich enough. They're not white enough, black enough, whatever the flip enough. Now, all of a sudden they're just, I am not apologizing. I am accountable to nobody but myself. And I am going to heal me. And as I heal my individual self, my children have a better shot. And if they do, and my family does, the neighbors do all of a sudden. And now all of a sudden, anybody we think about has a shot. And now anybody put up, now the whole thing rises. And that's what I'm trying to do, is on the individual level, get people to start. I don't know if you saw my post today. I haven't checked it because I've been busy all day.
Yeah, I couldn't see it because I couldn't find the new account.
Well, I got a got a new page, right? Naked TJ. Okay. And I put
Naked TJ.
I was
going to bring up the naked sunbathing.
Yeah. Well, it's naked in that I don't wear clothes, but then naked is just it's just out. It's out. Like no masks, no personas, just this full on naked human. Like, just be a naked human. What do you mean? Just go, be open, just let it out. But what I did was I said, name something you like, because I did this with a friend the other night. List things you like, just list it. And there are like thousands of comments, and you should see these beautiful answers, and all of them are free. It's like, that's it. Go focus on that. And if we all sit and read these, like, oh my gosh, I could go out and enjoy a morning walk in the sun. I could get feet on fresh grass. I could hug my child or listen to them giggle. I could, take a dip. I could, hug a tree, hang out in the forest, like have a sip of a cup of coffee on a foggy morning. Like, there are so many amazing things, but we've just been experts. We've become experts in all this really bad things. And I'm just like, we got to shift what our perception is and what we stand for, our values and beliefs. I know without a doubt in my mind why I do things, what I want, where I want to go. And so anything that comes at me, because we can't predict what's coming. It's only going to get harder because that's just the way life is. So it's okay. We're not going to like get all scared about it. No, you're going to do the work to put yourself in a more resilient position. And then what happens is you're able to make these decisions very clear. Yes. So when something is presented to you, you're like, okay. And you have this clear, calm. It's not easy. I'm not saying easy, but it's clear. And it's simple, and it's like, I'm supposed to go that way. So everybody's like, how do you know what to do? How do you know that it just doesn't make sense to how I live? Because of how I live. Nobody knows how they live. Nobody knows how they are. They don't even know who they are. So then all of a sudden post with this stuff, it's like, well, I guess I'm supposed to know, like, what do you stand for? What do you value? What do you believe in? And that's what we got to get back to. What an opportunity for us to do it right now. What an opportunity.
So well said. I mean, for me, the silver lining out of this experience is, isolation, going, that gave us an opportunity worldwide as a collective to have that opportunity to go within and really reassess who it is we are, that guru within us, and what it is we value, and how it is, what we want to put in our mouth to eat, how we want to spend our time, what we want to listen to, what do we want to feed into our mind, body, and soul. And to me, that was the silver lining, and it still is. I'm still living that way. And I'm juggling so many plates at the moment myself, but I feel I finally got it in 2020, how to first set myself up to be grounded before I went to approach anything. So then everything that comes to me, I'm able to approach it from that place of, space of knowing. Yeah. How does this feel? Like that body barometer,
Totally. And that's your truth. It's your capital T truth. And that's why somebody's trying to get me to say something different or act a different way. That's not my truth. And if I'm not acting my truth, I am not my best self, and I am hurting humanity by living in a way that is not me. I'm sorry. It doesn't have to be accepted by everybody. And that's okay.
Yeah, I think.
But the ones that get me.
I think, at the moment, it's a real time. I wish I could find the lyrics. I'll add it in. There's a song by a beautiful Australian band called Hussey Hicks. And it talks about, there's a big diversity at the moment, but it's about using that in a way that brings us together through that diversity, because it's okay. Everyone can have their opinion. That's okay. But it's, respecting each of us to have that freedom to choose what we want for our own vessels on this human planet.
Totally. Yeah. I love it. I know. That's what I'm fighting for.
I honor you for fighting for that. We're all, I think when we say it's time to wake up, I think that word purpose and mission gets thrown around, but I think what it is, see what lights you up, what brings you joy, what is important to you, and do more of that to help be that tree you are in the forest. And if we all are those trees, we can create ripples of change.
Perfect. You just said it right there. Like get on every broadcast and just say that right there. That's it. Love it.
Thank you so much. We'll point people. I mean, I just wanted to finish up. I have 3 boys. One of them, ever since he was young, is absolutely born out of my womb. He's a twin, saying, I'm going to be a famous soccer player. It's just my daughter's like, I'm going to be a singer. And he's just turned 8, and I have put him into a league, where he's playing. And it was interesting because I was listening to you talk, and I think that we should share, because my 2 other boys, you do get a lot of pressure. They're teenagers now, but you get a lot of pressure to put them in the sports team, to get them, every afternoon an activity. And I constantly was like the mother at the school grounds that no one really talked to me, because I was like, oh no, my son, we just hang out after school, One of them ended up playing an instrument, but this one, he is in a league. And I think that you have some really important points. I want to point mothers and fathers to the book that you did write in 2018. And there's so many messages in that. And I loved how you said, look, you could let them, wasn't it that you could let them train 6 months, but also allowing the body to adjust and rest and being mindful. I mean, I want you to say it, I'm not going to say it, but also, with all the technology, like I remember my other boys started a lot later with Minecraft and all these, computer games, but he started so early at 6, and I noticed his posture and his emotional body. So I loved, can you share a little bit, and then I'll let you go because I know you're really busy, but so anything.
So there were these injury epidemics happening in youth. There were ligaments in knees, ligaments in elbows, concussions, spine fractures in 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds. And so part of the problem of why that was occurring, and it's just these massive healing responses. That's all it is. Like the body's just like, I'm trying to heal. I'm this beautiful person and I'm trying to heal. So what is the environment then that we're keeping them in that would cause such a healing response, like these degenerative conditions? So it's 3 factors is what I said, where the youth sports industry is like $17 billion industry in the States. And so worldwide,
Yes,
I don't
yes.
know where, right? But it's clinics and coaches and private stuff. And it starts at, 5 or 6 years old. I mean, it starts in 4 in some of them. Then I used America. You have the American de-evolution lifestyle. We've been on a slow decline for the last 40 years. Physically incompetent, neuromotorily immature, malnourished, underslept, overprofessional, overeducated, overmedicated. All these things, we're just declined. And so you put that in with the whole family. And then you have the final piece of the puzzle, which is the toughest of all. It's the keeping up with the Joneses that the parents do, because you have so much pressure to keep up. And it's so hard because you feel like you're doing your child a disservice if you're not keeping up. So you put all those 3 together and the body it can't keep up. Their little bodies just can't keep up. So what I love is till they're about 12 or 13, from womb to like 12, they're just supposed to be children. And children do what? They're outside and they're creative and they're imagining things. You don't have to if they want soccer, they will play soccer and they'll make a game and they'll play forever.
He plays around the house.
The thing,
he plays around the house. Even if there's a piece of paper on the floor, you can't stop him. It's in him.
You can't stop the ones that want to play. Now you forcing somebody to drive them to a practice when they don't, that says something right there. There was something, some other countries have outlawed leagues till 12 years old. You don't have them. Some other things, everyone's just like, well, what about a trainer, for my kids? Like, no, the training, they're their own trainer. They're outside. And if you think about it, there was a Serbian neuroscientist who did a study on basic neurological development for a 6-year-old. The 6-year-old needs to move. They move an equivalent of 6 miles a day. Okay. Dude. So think about you or I. That's why I go on these massive walks and do all this stuff. I'm like, I'm holding myself to 6-year-old standards. Like if that dude's coming up. So we just think about that, right? And you start to put it all together. Plus, when you do it right, you don't have an immediate all-star, but you have a healthy, based out, foundationally principled, connected with the family, nourished, confident, empowered athlete that gets better as they mature, and they're late high school. All of a sudden they bloom as they're supposed to. And now maybe they make an all-star team, maybe they don't. But what you have is, you don't have a broken adult. You don't have a broken man or woman. You have this person who grew through these opportunities, which is what sports is supposed to teach us. It's supposed to help us be better adults, more conscientious, empowered, empathic, healed. Yeah, like that, goals and teamwork and setting everything else. But we've missed that mark. And so what's going to suck is it's the same thing that's going on now. The majority is doing something a certain way. If you do it differently, you will be outed. It's the same thing that's going on now. And so, I mean, it's just one of those things. You got to know as a family what you believe and value. And this is what we stick with. And I'll say the healthiest families, meaning with the less injuries, they're more connected. They, from the top down, mom and dad are on the same page. The children understand because the mom and dad communicate to them as if they're humans, not these little idiots. Yeah. Like kids are actually very smart. You just have to talk to them and communicate with them. But all of a sudden, the 18-year-old doesn't have a cell phone, and his friends are like, what the heck? And he's like, well, no, like the cell phone actually creates a sympathetic response. I don't want my immune system depressed. I want to be the best at. So that's why I don't have it. But if it's like, oh, my mom wouldn't let me have it, and then now he's outed because his mom had, it's like, you start to just bring in the whole family.
Each of them start. I mean, my daughter said to me, I want to pierce my ears. Everyone has pierced their ears, and she's 8. And I started to say, well, we actually have meridians that run through our body, and actually, if we learn that is a key meridian point. I mean, I've not studied, but it just came to me intuitively. And she went, oh, yeah. Okay. So maybe when I'm 10 or 12, I said, maybe we can talk about it again then,
But you put it to her, right? You told her facts, like here, and you gave her the information, and she made this really great decision. Like, of course I wouldn't do that. There's a meridian there? Oh, all right. That's brilliant.
I'm chatting today with Dr. Tommy John.
I just want people to know, because I know there's like personal websites and all that stuff. I'm a part of a nonprofit that we started called Health Freedom for Humanity. Alex Zeck started it, and his mom is a part of it as well. They're big into this movement. And we're just getting started. We're grassroots. but it's healthfreedomforhumanity.org.
Okay.
And so I'm actually doing a podcast for them right after this. That's what I've got. But we've got tons of guests, our podcasts. We have all these classes that we're running. It's just a place for everyone to go where we're fighting for health and medical freedom from all angles, from all areas, you know, no brands, we all know what's at stake. We all know what's at risk here. And we're all willing to risk it all. Every single one of us is this hill will die on, because it's the most important time in humanity we've ever seen. So we're ready.
Thank you so much. And may we inspire everyone to awaken to health, freedom, and humanity.
That's the goal. You're awesome. Thank you.
You've been listening to One Space Love podcast, and I'm Steph Pappas. Thank you for listening. You can head over to onespace.love to learn more about what it is One Space is. And over on the website, all of the previous podcasts are available. You can watch the chats on video on our YouTube channel, One Space Love. You can also see the music that's featured and see how to connect with the radio shows that I'm on, Radio Byron and Bondi Beach Radio, that I feature weekly, where I share these chats as well as music. I hope these shows inspire you to create more space in your life for doing what you love.
One space love. One space love.